Okay, I kind of promised myself beforehand that I wouldn't make any videos about Game of Thrones because I mean there's plenty already out there. I mean you've got Otaku Assembly, I think is probably the big one in terms of providing Game of Thrones YouTube stuff. But I did want to post 3 hates of mine. Well, in fact, I'm saying 3. I think I'm thinking about it. There's 5 that I can list. So I'm just going to go over this, and these are things that they're 5 problems that I hate most specifically with the series. This isn't to say that I don't love the series. I mean, as a matter of fact, I'm watching it right now. It's on the telly. I'm catching up before the premiere of season 4 shows. But there's just a few things I want to get out of the way and say. Okay, so hate number 1 is sex scenes. Now, the sex scenes, they really drive me up the wall because I can't see a point in them. It's, you know, I'm not a little 15-year-old boy who's all excited about getting the sex. They really bug me. They serve no purpose. The sex references and the sex scenes and stuff in the book, but it's not quite in the same sort of way that they do it. It's a lot more crass in the series. And if I want to watch porn, I'll watch porn. I'll just put a porno on. I'm annoyed that they're taking away valuable minutes where they could give good character development and they could work on a character that perhaps we don't see as much of. I'm thinking namely someone like, say, Arya, or less so, but still say Bran. In particular, Stannis. I think they need to give Stannis a lot more airtime than they are doing. And if they just got rid of the sex, then it'd be better, because at the moment all they're doing with the sex scenes is they're pandering to people, teenage boys who aren't even old enough to be watching the series really in the first place. So I mean that's step 1. I want to get rid of the sex. Step 2 is, well, I suppose it's Stannis. Now, when I say that, it's not that I don't like Stannis, the character himself. It's not that I don't think they should include him. Although he isn't a particularly nice, likeable person. What I don't like is what they've done with him. In the books, he's a far more interesting character, and he's really developed. He's quite sort of deep. He's also difficult to understand, but at the same time, you understand why he does a lot of the things he does. He's one of those people who he doesn't forgive a wrongdoing because you've done something good. He'll punish you for what's wrong, and he will reward you for what's good. Davos losing his fingers and getting an knighthood is the perfect example of that. Also in the books, you really do get the understanding that he doesn't want to be king at all. With him, it really is a case of it's not his wishes, it's his duty, and he's so duty bound and he's so honourable and all this. It's untrue. And also the whole thing about him having sex with the Red Lady, that pissed me off a bit, because that's not what he's like. And a bit with Davos as well at the end of season 3, where he's going to say, "Oh, kill him," and then she says, "Oh no, don't save him," and he laughs and goes, "Oh, it's your lucky day." It just makes him seem deranged and like it's just weird. And he isn't like that at all. He's completely different. Also, with the whole with them having to save what's his face, Arya's friend. In the books, it's a different character. It's a character called Eric Storm. He's also a bastard of Robert Baratheon's, but in that he's really against murder. And the reason why he's really against murder is because a key part of his character, it's wrong. It is wrong to kill a child. It is wrong to kill an innocent for that sort of gain. It's wrong, so he won't do it, and he's really battling with it. And Marcella really wants him to do it. In the series, it doesn't come across, the television series, it doesn't come across like that at all. So I really want them to develop Stannis more, and it's a real pet hate of mine that they don't want him to do that, because at the moment in the books where we're at, which is book 5, is the last book made, Stannis is the one I'm rooting for. I really like him. So that's step 2 of my things I hate. Okay, the third thing I hate is creating characters. Now, we've got a lot of brilliant characters that are in the books that don't get any airtime at all. So why the hell do you create other characters? And everyone who's read the books will know straight away who I'm on about. Roz the whore. I think there was one reference in one chapter in the first book about a red-headed whore that was in Winterfell or somewhere in the north. Doesn't give a name or anything. Now the only thing I can think is that the authors have taken, you know, artistic license to just create this whole character that spans over 3 seasons. And thankfully, luckily, the one good thing that Joffrey ever does is, you know, get rid of her, which is nice. Don't quite agree with the method, but again, that's a whole fictitious thing. Never really happened. He didn't kill. Well, he might have killed a whore called Roz, but it wasn't that whore, because just drives me at the wall. But anyway, why have we got her there? Most of the scenes that she's in, she serves no purpose in. In fact, most of the scenes that she's in is the sex scenes. So maybe now she's dead, there won't be as many of the sex scenes. So there's one less thing for me to rant about. But she's a useless character. I think I added up before that she took up something almost around an hour's worth of time, of airtime. Now, if we didn't have her, that meant we could have had a whole other episode worth of, I don't know, I'd rather have had Tyrion's satire, or again, getting back to Stannis' development, or Arya's development, or anyone's development. Just spread it out a little bit. Just don't include a useless... The only thing I can think with Roz is, and this is a theory, I don't know, she was sleeping with one of the 2 directors, and they said, oh yeah, we can get you a part. Well, what part am I going to play? Oh, well, let me think. And lo and behold, Roz the whore was born. And it's why did they ever include her in the first place? It really, really pisses me off that she's there. Yeah, so that's the third thing I hate. The fourth thing I hate, and again, book readers will kind of follow this a little bit, I think, and see where I'm going with it, is George R.R. Martin. Now, this isn't about George R.R. Martin, you know, himself. I think all the work he's done, all the stuff he's written, is brilliant. I cannot fault him at all for his style of writer. And again, this is more about the television series. It's not about the books. So it's this in a backwards way. This is the television series' fault. But George R.R. Martin is a very lazy and a very I think he's got quite a short attention span. He'll go from one project to the next very, very quickly, and anything that interests him there, he can't. He takes years to write the book. Now you imagine when season 1 ended, and you're like, oh god, this is fantastic, I can't wait for season 2. Imagine 6 years. 6 years waiting for a man to start scribbling some stuff on a pen, on a paper. It just, anyway. Reason why I'm angry with the series is it's a distraction for him. You know, he writes a lot of the scripts for it. He directs one of the episodes, which is really good because you know that's going to be a really good episode. But he's in his 60s. He's not a very healthy gentleman. If you see him, he's quite portly. He's quite large. He's got loads of little projects that he's doing instead of writing the next books. And what makes it worse, he said if he dies, nobody else is going to be allowed to finish the books. So if he pops his clogs, that's it. The story arc finishes. Personally, I think that's a selfish thing of him. I think he should assign someone who will know what's going to happen, who has a similar writing style to his own, who just in case he dies, he can say, oh well, this is what happens. Dany goes off and does whatever, and Jon Snow goes off and does whatever, Tyrion does whatever, and then at least that the series can be ended. There can be the 7 books. I understand why he's reluctant to, because he doesn't want someone to suddenly have the license, and then you get all these bastardized ghost writers who just sort of cash in on it, cash cows. But I do think he should have something in place just to protect the overall story arc, just to ensure in case he dies. Now, the series means he is not actually doing that, which is, for me, it's a bad thing, and that's something I dislike, I hate about the series, really. And fifth and finally, and this is my biggest one, is recasting characters. So changing the actors, and this drives me really up the wall. I'm trying my best not to swear there. Actually, I made this video earlier and I swore. quite a lot, but it for the continuity, considering how much they chop and change for continuity, you would think that they keep the same characters. You'd think that they'd either do a better job first time round casting them if they're not happy with them, or just just try and make do. Because the biggest one, I think, the one that really irks me is the Mountain. Why on earth did they recast him? The first guy that they picked was brilliant. He was this big, bulky bloke. He looked older than the Hound. He looked mean, rough. You wouldn't mess with him. So he was no good. So they replaced him with someone who was taller, looks about 5 to 10 years younger than the Hound himself, bearing in mind that the Mountain's supposed to be his big brother. Who the only reason why I think that they picked him is because he's supposedly got some martial arts skills. But the problem with that is that in the whole of season 2, when you actually see him, he didn't swing a sword. I don't think he even drew it. He didn't do anything. And then come season 3, we didn't see him at all. And then season 4, it looks from the previews like they've recast him yet again. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that's not the case. I'm hoping that they've kept him, although it was a pretty shitty recasting, really. I've got nothing against that actor that they've replaced him with, but it's just he's wrong for the part. He's about 10 years too young. He's not bulky enough. He's just wrong. They've also, looks like they've replaced I've forgotten his name, the leader of the Second Sons. It looks like he's developed a beard and a new head. They changed the 3 prisoners that were in the cage that were going up north in season 1 and season 2 with Arya and Yorin. You see them at the end of season 1, and then at the start of season 2, completely new characters. Why do that? Why not? Rather than just recast them, why don't you think, okay, well look, we've got these, we're going to be sticking 3 extras in here because we need 3 people in there. Well, should we just see if they can act first so they can then play in season 2? Whoa, let's not do that. Let's just pick 3 random people off the street and then we'll recast them afterwards. They did it as well, I think, with one of Dany's people. In her Khalasar, she's got a handmaid lady. Again, I've forgotten the names. I should know these. I've read the books, but she's in it the whole of season 1, and then I'm pretty certain that they recast her for season 2. Why? It makes it harder to follow who it is. And if they start doing things like they recast Cersei's daughter, because she's gonna, Dawn, when Dawn comes into play, she's gonna become more prominent. And if they recast her again, that's destroying the continuity. I'm amazed that Rickon has somehow managed to keep his position, but why recast? If you're going to recast anyone, just recast the really minor characters, or better yet, just kill them off and bring in a new character with a new name who serves the same purpose. So okay, you don't want to use a Mountain anymore, fine, you kill him off and say, Sandor Clegane's cousin, such and such a Clegane, is here, and he's going to do the exact same thing that his brother was doing. But it would work better with the continuity. It really annoys me. They've got to think before they cast these people if they're going to be doing that, because it's hard enough. It's hard enough for me as a book reader to be able to follow who they're supposed to be. God help the people who've never even read the books, who the only thing that they've got to go on is what they had on the season before, and now that person, whose name was probably only mentioned a couple of times, has been recast. So to them, it's going to be even harder to follow it. Yeah.